moment. Like we were saying, if it's your first time joining us, smash the like and subscribe. That's all we can ask. We're bringing you more episodes, more content. We got a few announcements, actually. We got to give big shout out to Defending Awesome. You might notice our new T-shirts and toques.
Yeah. Looking great.
We're all repping the DA right now.
We're all repping the Defending Awesome. So we got a couple designs in the works. We might do a little pre-sale if there's interest. Drop it in the comments and let us know if you're interested in one of the toques or one of the shirts. They got the logo on the front, and they got "See you next Tuesday" on the back. So
They're pretty sick.
Yeah.
Shirts as well. See you next Tuesday on the back.
That's it. Yeah, we haven't priced them out yet or anything, but if you're interested, make sure you drop us a little comment or hit the DMs up on Instagram and let us know. So maybe we can get a big order going. You know what I'm saying?
Let's go.
Well, let's give a special shout out to Jim. You've
For
had him on the pod. He was your Sweet 16 episode.
For sure.
And Kelsey there.
Big time.
I actually just started working at Defending Awesome, and Jim is just an awesome dude.
Dude, for sure.
He gives a lot of support to the community and puts a lot of love and care into each project he does for everybody. So, yeah, big shout out to Jim, helping me get out of the culinary world. And he's a great boss and he's a great dude. So,
and we will, again, we'll talk about a little bit of that in a little bit. Another announcement, me and Matt, we're going to be covering the Banff Center Mountain Film and Book Festival this year in a bit of a more expansive way. We got a bunch of interviews hopefully lined up soon. We're going to be boots on the ground doing interviews with attendees, marketplace people, filmmakers, authors, full coverage. So we're working on that. Expect some of that coverage to come for you soon. Yeah. Before we move on to Jimmy, I know it's much anticipated. Let's check in with our friends over at Drink Shaft. We'll catch up with you in 20 seconds here. All right, we are back. We all know that autumn in Banff hits different. Crisp air, golden larches, and early sunsets. We're going to keep that mountain energy going with Drink Shaft, the non-alcoholic, all-natural espresso energy drink made for the adventure lifestyle. Fall is all about fresh starts, cozy vibes, and staying sharp. That's why we're going to fall into Shaft. Clean energy for everyone. It's now available in over 800 stores across Western Canada, so go get yours today. Seasons change, but Drink Shaft, it always stays the same. We got the non-alcoholic version. There is also an alcoholic version. They're all available at Townhouse Liquor. You can get them both at the Rose and Crown Banff as well. If you haven't met Jimmy Stevens returned to the Bow Valley to live his dream after rebuilding his life from the ground up. For years, he worked as a chef in seasonal jobs across Canada, caught in the cycle of burnout, substance abuse, and unhealthy habits. Jimmy decided to rewrite his story. He lost 100 pounds, quit smoking and drinking, went back to college to design a new future for himself. Jimmy spent 4 years in college collecting postgraduate certificates related to marketing and events. He won an award in every year in school, including the Major Games Bid Simulation presented to NHL events, an arts and culture honorarium for his work with students, musicians, as an internship in one of Canada's biggest sporting events. Congratulations, man. That's huge.
No doubt.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Having won events in every single year of school, that's pretty impressive. He returned to the mountains and noticed the need for stronger live music promotion, which is where he founded Rocky Mountain Live, a free digital platform connecting artists, venues, and music lovers across the Rockies. Jimmy's worked tirelessly to leave the service industry behind and pursue his true passion with his new career path, which he seems like he just has, so we'll touch on that in a bit. The goal is to create a movement inspiring people to conquer their own mountains and live the life they dream of. Funny enough, this isn't the first time we've sat down together.
This is not the first time, Dan.
No, we spent a lot of time together, me and Jimmy, actually. You guys have met before. We met where at the G7 protest?
Yeah, the protest, I think, is where we were hanging out there. It was so hot that day.
It was a hot day. Yeah, I was actually there covering Scott Deal and Digital Hobo. I did a little feature video on the power of music and social issues I released on him on YouTube. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, we met there at the G7 protest, and since then we did a couple of events. Jimmy reached out to us to have a part in the Folk Fest first in Canmore, which was awesome. Like, such a great weekend, such a great event.
Yeah, Canmore Folk Fest is amazing. I actually volunteered as assistant to the executive director the previous years, Jenna, where I had the idea of Rocky Mountain Live. It was just a way to get involved in the music scene, and I love music festivals. So being a part of one and learning from Jenna was a great experience. She has a great team there. So shout out Jenna, Margot, Eli, and everybody out there. Then they allowed me to come back with the booth space. So after meeting you guys, I'd listened to some of the podcasts, and we're two of the new age media in town. Like, you're more established than I am, and I just thought it was a good partnership because it worked out well there. You were at the booth all weekend doing interviews while I was out there filming content. Still to be released, a lot of it. I got a lot of work to do on that, but we had a good team there, and it just worked very well, the partnership with the booth space that we had.
I think so. I think because we're in kind of the same realm, but different, right?
Yeah.
Like, we're kind of just more on the spot, putting stuff out as we go. Yours is a little bit more refined. Like you said, you're going over the footage, more full-length performances. So I felt it was a great partnership for sure. Kind of the immediate quick hit, and then the longer, more polished coverage as well. So I can't thank you enough for inviting us to do that event. It was absolutely awesome. Given the weather, we still had a great time.
Yeah,
wasn't it raining all weekend?
Oh, yeah, it did. Rained a lot. We got trapped under the tent for a while there. So yeah, I can't thank you enough for participating, because it was like good for you having you hold down the space there. So me and the team were out there collecting photographs and videos. So we're actually releasing a full. It's like a documentary on the community aspects of Folk Fest. I'll release sometime in the winter, probably around the warm-up festival time that they do in February.
Amazing.
Cool. And we got features with the Aussie artists, so Kim Churchill, Steph Strings, Lloyd Spiegel, and we're going to work that in how Aussies love coming to the mountains, and Banff especially. And Mountain Mansion, he's actually at his fire lookout creating his music, and I actually went up there and interviewed him and shot footage at his lookout there up on Yates Mountain.
Amazing.
Sick.
Right.
That'd be a wicked spot to just hang out and rip some guitar.
Big time.
There's like nobody around. Who you gonna body?
Well, that's the thing. That's kind of what was an inspiration for a lot of like my social media stuff that we got coming down the pipe, is like, we have this background here, and like no one's really using it. You know what I mean? Like, we have the perfect place to do these things. So stay tuned for all that coverage coming out soon. Let's take it back to the beginning, Jimmy. What made you want to come out to the mountains in the first place?
Well, that was when I was 19 years old in Ontario. Back then, I didn't have a clue what this place was, to be honest with you. I was out of school. I was heavy into partying and drugs and stuff, like we all were back then, I think.
That's what brought me out here, man, for sure.
Exactly. And like coming out of school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do for post-secondary. And I was living in Peterborough, Ontario area.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and there were just no jobs around. Yeah. Like, I couldn't get a job. Like, I worked a couple of jobs I didn't like. I did pizza delivery. I worked at my grandfather's transport truck driving place, like crushing paint cans, strangely enough. It was like they collected all these paint cans and you crush them and they turned it into something. I don't even remember, to be honest. So I was driving my buddy home one day and I was like, do you know what we should do, Brooksy? He looks at me, he's like, what's that? Move to BC? Because we talked about it before. So I was like, yeah. So we both went home, sent out some applications, and 9 days later, with $90 in my pocket, I flew into Calgary, spent the night at Buffalo Mountain Lodge, and then was taken out to be a dishwasher at Emerald Lake.
Sick. Wild.
Yeah, no clue what we were getting ourselves into. Neither of us had ever worked in a kitchen before or really worked in our life. So we showed up on the 4th of July, one of the busiest days of the year.
Oh, yeah, I got thrown right into the fire, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a rough start. That's a rough start. You're like, okay, welcome to the kitchen, buddy. You're about to see absolute chaos. Like, you're about to witness hell on earth right now. Like,
yeah, it wasn't fun. It wasn't a fun day. And back then, I didn't appreciate the mountains as much as I grew to over the years. But this place always felt special to me. I worked a lot of seasonal jobs over the years, but I've always come back to the Rockies, and I've just like grown that appreciation over the years. But when I first got out here, it was literally just to get away from Ontario, get away from the drugs. But honestly, it got me more into drinking.
Yeah,
for sure.
It can have the opposite effect. Like I moved out here pretty late. Like I was like 28 when I moved out here.
Yeah.
So I was kind of like half-ass over the party scene. I mean, I did a little bit when I first got here, as we all do, but yeah, I didn't get too far into the Banff rabbit hole.
Well, I did big time because it took the two things that I really enjoyed the most, which was partying and then snowboarding. And then there was a bunch of jobs in the service industry, which bartending was perfect. I could work nights, I could drink. I was involved in the social aspect of it. So it kind of like ticked all the boxes for me. Yeah. So the first 10 years, it was...
Any advice? Any advice for someone looking to make the Bow Valley their home long term?
Well, I'm currently trying to make the Bow Valley my home long term. So my strategy is, I think that's always important when you want to make a place your home, to give something back to the community that makes them want to keep you here, especially in a place like this that's so transient and hard to make work, really.
No doubt.
So that's why I started Rocky Mountain Live and my new project we'll talk about later. But I really realized this when I started in music back in Ucluelet. So I've worked a lot of seasonal jobs over the years, as I said, living in a lot of Savacoms, but I went down to Yuki by Tofino, and I got there and I just started doing fun things. I started putting on a drop-in softball game, and that we started having 2 teams and spectators and a barbecue every week. And then I started putting on concerts and doing a radio show. And before I knew it, I'd put on like 18 concerts, had a radio show for a year and a half.
Wow.
Nice. I did 2 Halloween haunted houses and all kinds of small events. And I had keys to like so many places in town, like the restaurant I worked at, the radio station, my buddy's house and car. People just kept giving me keys to things just to make things happen in town.
Yeah.
And like very, very quickly in the first like 6 months, people took me in as a local there.
Nice.
So eventually that's what inspired me to go back to school, is to learn how to do all that stuff I started doing, not having any clue how to do it, and just like really learn the theory behind it so I could come do it professionally and make that my career and make a place like this my home.
For sure, man. I think that's a very common theme is community, right? And especially in the success of staying in the Bow Valley long term. Sure. But I think you've taken it a step further, and your Ucluelet story is like actually putting on events for the community. It's probably the best way, right? Like volunteering your time at events is easily the best way to get people to know who you are, because the people that are running these events,
they'll see you show up.
For sure.
It's
They're usually people that have been in town the longest, right? And growing your network will help you find those places to stay, will help you find those jobs, right?
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, congrats, man. That's awesome and insane stuff. So you started kind of doing this community stuff, decided you were interested in running events and that type of thing. What programs did you take in school?
Yeah, so when I went back to school, it was kind of a strange time because I knew I wanted to go back to school and I planned on going back in 2020. And we all know that plans all got 2020 back then. So, you know, everything kind of changed. And I originally wanted to do a sports management program that was 3 years long, because sports has always been something that I enjoy being involved in. And I grew up, my grandfather was actually an Ontario Minor Hockey Association executive member. So it's something I grew up in,
nice.
right? Yeah. But then when the pandemic hit, I didn't know if I wanted to dedicate 3 years to school. So I had all my savings, and then I suddenly didn't have a job and had to live off my savings. So I switched to a 1-year event management program because I already put on events and had an idea of what it was like, and I wanted to learn how to do it. So like I thought when events did come back, that other than focusing on sports, I'd open that door to music and other things, right? Nice. And I really enjoyed that. But then I wanted to still learn sports, so I found a 1-year postgraduate sports business management. So then I had two postgraduate degrees, and during those I learned how to do some graphic design, and I realized that it was all about marketing. So I did a little bit of marketing for my events in the small town, obviously, but I started to get good at Canva. And good's a little bit of an overstatement. I thought I started to know how to use Canva and put some things together. So I took a 1-year regular certificate for Media Arts Fundamentals, which is like a crash course in graphic design when you don't want to do 3 years. And I was doing all the events at the campus pub that year. And then I got good at some of the Adobe programs. Again, good is an overstatement. I'm still learning. And then I took another postgraduate for digital marketing communications to give me that well-rounded skill set in digital marketing. And sometimes people ask me, like, why 4 different things are so different? It's like they work very well together.
For sure. We were talking about this, I think, at the Folk Fest on how you're kind of criticized maybe by some of your peers of having such a wild or varied skill set, right?
I don't know, criticize is the right word. It was just people like didn't really understand why I was doing 4 different things because they're not in that world. Like they work their jobs in their professions.
For sure.
And don't realize that when you're putting on events, you're often one-man show doing everything. So you're doing the graphic design, you're doing the website, you're doing the social media.
100%.
You're a little bit everywhere. You're doing the business side of things. You're doing the financial side of things. So the postgraduate programs, they kind of do that. They kind of like event management and sports business management are basically both business management courses that use events and sports as examples.
For sure.
And like our professor and program coordinator in sports business, he made a very good point of that. He's like, one guy took everything he learned from here and now he sells tools because he realized that it basically was just all business skills.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, that's some good forethought on your behalf, honestly, to vary your tool belt, and so to speak. We talked a little bit about in your intro about rebuilding your life from the ground up. When you look back at the person you were before you started this change, what's the biggest difference that you see in yourself from then till now?
Well, there's a few things really. That's a really hard question to answer. So I think basically my curiosity and willingness to learn. I was always like able to learn, but I would never put that effort into really going out to learn about like just those different skill sets. Like I was a cook, I was a partier. That's kind of what I spent my time on, watching TV shows and movies and listening to music and like always like looking for the next drink or the next bowl I was going to smoke. But now like I just have so many different interests and I have that drive and willingness to learn about things and also just like taking care of myself. So I was always out for that quick dopamine hit, you know? Yeah. You're looking for that next bowl, you're looking for whatever party you're going to, that next joke that makes you laugh, you're not putting that extra effort into making yourself feel good. So there's actually, you know, Andrew Huberman Lab podcast.
Big time.
So there's an after school special on YouTube. One of the after school episodes is him, and he talks about like putting yourself in more uncomfortable situations gives you a longer dopamine hit. So when you take those short ones, you'll get those quick dopamine hits and it'll over the time you'll just like not feel as good as it felt in that moment and you'll work yourself into depression. Where if you do things like work out and put a hard workout in the weights and go in an ice bath for 3 minutes, that few minutes is going to suck while you're doing it, but then you're going to feel so much better for so much longer after, and it puts you in a different mind frame. So basically those things, my curiosity and my willingness to work harder to feel better.
For sure. I think anything that you put in, you will get out is kind of what I take from what you've said, right? Is the drive that you find when you start putting these addictions aside and focusing on something that you really love. And if you can fall in love with yourself and like, you know, really work at that.
True.
It's an addictive feeling once you start getting progress, right?
Was there a moment when, like a specific moment when you're like, I just got to switch it up. Like we got to make a change here.
I don't think there was a moment. I think there was moments. As I said, I was a seasonal employee. I went to a lot of different places. I partied a lot. You know, you just get in situations where you just, you know, you've had those blackout moments where you don't even know what you did. You just embarrass yourself. You didn't even do anything bad. You just like wake up. You're like,
oh no,
you pissed some people off last night. You're too loud in staff residence or whatever. You know, I lost a couple jobs along the way just from partying.
That hungover dread when you wake up and you're like, fuck, what did I do last night? Oh no, dude. Oh no.
Yeah, exactly. And there was like moments, like people that knew me in a past life might say, oh, I know the moment, but like they're wrong, to be honest with you. I just always kind of knew that life wasn't for me, and when those moments would come up, it would kind of solidify that. But it's so hard to know how to get out of it when you're in the culinary industry or food service industry and you're in the party scene. You really don't know how to get involved in the other things to get yourself out of it. So, you know, I always knew that I wanted to do it, and there was never really a moment, but like I just never felt as good about myself as I knew I should. So it was kind of just like, over time, I just got sick of it, and it was like, now is the time to really start doing it, and it was just a step-by-step process after that.
Very well said, man. I'm glad you brought up the restaurant industry. What role did that play in the old you versus who you are now that you've left that behind?
Yeah, I'm not gonna even dunk on the whole food service industry. Like it can be good for you in ways. It taught me work ethic, taught me life skills, made me lots of friends.
Yeah.
I had a really good time for a long time. Like I'm sure you
For
guys.
sure, we're
like,
still in the food industry.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy my job. I love it. Like
Yeah.
I feel like it's a fun way to go and make some money for me. It uses a skill set that I think I'm good at, going and talking to strangers. I'm not, it's something that, like a muscle, you work at it over time, you kind of get good at it. But yeah, I don't know. It has its positives and it has its negatives for sure. And the substance abuse side of it, unfortunately, is one that comes with it.
Yeah.
Part of what attracted me to it in the first place, right, is being in that party while you're working. It was kind of fun. Like, I know now we're more in a restaurant setting, but I come from bars and nightclubs.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
well, it used to be wild too. Like, even if you go back like 10 years, like wet bars, like, you just go down there, you could do like shots with the bartender all night, and like nobody gave a shit.
The industry has changed drastically.
Yeah, even in like the last 10 years, like it's way less like boozing.
Well, I think the supports are there now as well. I think people know that like they're aware that those problems are there in that industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the role it played in the old me, it was just like that was who I was. I was who people saw me. They saw me as the chef. I go to a potluck and I'd be the guy that helped everybody cook all their stuff. But I kind of felt stuck in that role where I always knew that there was more to life and more to me. And I never actually went after my red seal as a chef, right? So I knew I just didn't want to do that because it just wasn't what my long-term path was. And I felt like if I did that, I would be set in that life. But the role it played was just keeping me stuck. So there's a band called My Son the Hurricane. You actually put that.
The song. Yeah.
You put that one of the songs on the post for me the other day. But there's another song called Smile, and there's a line in there that says, "Held down by an industry that held me down for too long. It's a shame when you and your paycheck don't get along." And that's kind of how I felt. Is just like it held me back in my potential. For sure. I always had more potential. I just like, as I said, I came out west to find a job, and I just got stuck in that industry and being that person and not knowing how to get out for a while.
Well, I think a lot of people could relate to that, honestly. You just kind of fall into restaurant or service industry work when you come out here because it tends to just be...
Well, it's everywhere. It's
the majority of available jobs, right? Especially except for transient people coming in and out. Looking back, how did going to school as an adult turn you into who you are now? Because that's got to be like... Come on, it's got to be a pretty intimidating scenario. I'm sure a lot of people out there have thought about going back to school as adults.
Yeah, for sure. So it played a huge role, obviously. So it is intimidating. The first year was kind of easy because it was COVID, so it just gave me something to do. It was all online school.
Okay.
So nice. Yeah, like everything was just theory online, which was unfortunate because we had a sweet event space we weren't allowed to use and get that practical experience. But I did learn a lot. And that year, I studied so much stuff. I studied into fitness and nutrition. I already knew nutrition being a chef, but I actually took everything I knew and studied more into calorie counting and all the macronutrients and everything. I self-taught myself how to work out before eventually working with different fitness instructors to really solidify that knowledge. I just took the time to work on myself. So another podcast you're probably familiar with is Modern Wisdom with Chris Williamson.
No.
You don't know Modern Wisdom?
No.
One of the biggest podcasts in the world. He's been on Joe Rogan a couple times. It's kind of like Joe Rogan style conversations, but Joe just goes off on whatever he wants to, where Chris is kind of like more direct, kind of like what you guys are doing. He's a little bit more structured in that way. But yeah, it's Modern Wisdom. It's just everyday tools. Everyday, what does he say? I forget his tagline. But just talking about different good ways to live your life, basically. And he always talks about the quiet part. So the quiet part is when you kind of just take yourself out of the situation you're in and work on yourself. And you kind of cut yourself off from all your people in your life that aren't really resonating with what your higher value is, really. And you just really work on yourself. So like it gave me that time, both COVID and school, to work on myself. And going into school when it was students and everything was intimidating. I was a lot older than everybody. I didn't really... I'm sure you guys can relate. You've talked about this on the pod where it's hard to relate to younger people in the industry who come in at 18 to 20 years old and just kind of talk to you like you might not know what you're doing, where you're like, kid, I've been through what you're doing. You know?
For sure. was your approach different? I just wrote a little thing down. Going back to school as an adult, like as far as the work, right? Because I think of myself in high school, I was kind of a shithead. Like I didn't really care. I didn't really apply myself to the work. Was going back and taking that information in as an adult, did you find your approach was different than you took in high school?
Oh, 100%. I barely tried in high school, man.
Right?
I passed I passed all the classes in grade 12 that I went to more than half of. Me and my friends would just go, I went into school, we went to smoke weed. That was like our day, basically.
Yeah.
So going back, and even in culinary school, I still partied a lot back then, and I did learn in culinary school and put effort in. But when I went back this last time for the postgraduate certificates, I think that shows in the awards I won. So every year, as you said in my bio, I won an award. So I got a certificate of academic distinction my first year in event management. Second year, we did a major games bid simulation presented to the National Hockey League. And that was a beast of a project. That was 4 months where every class that we had was kind of put into the bid project and presentation.
Yeah.
It was an hour-long presentation. Members of NHL events were sitting in their offices in New York, and we presented over Zoom. And at one point, I was like the project coordinator of the team. So it was for an NHL outdoor game. And our thing was the Edmonton Oilers versus Detroit Red Wings outdoor game in Munich, Germany, where the FC Bayern Munich play, where Alphonso Davies, Canada's best soccer player, plays. And he has ties to Edmonton. That's where he grew up. And it was all tied to Oktoberfest. And at one point, I looked at my teammates and I was like, do you guys want to win this bid simulation? They're like, yeah. I was like, okay, let me take control and do this presentation. So that's when I really got into that Canva and everything. Is I went on Canva. Yeah. I designed the entire document to send to them. I designed the entire presentation, 60-something pages of document, 60-something slide presentation. Wow. And I wrote the script for all of us and everything. I was like, boys, this will win it for us. And it sure enough, it did.
Sick.
And then the next year when I was in school, I took a job doing all the events at a campus pub. I started working with student musicians. I got a hold of the music and digital media program, and we started an open mic with them as the house sound tech and house band. Found all the student musicians there, and at a university down the street as well. Started working with Kingston Live, so that's where Rocky Mountain Live comes from, is another website called Kingston Live and Live Victoria. And started bringing bands from around town to work with our student musicians on Fridays. And I got a arts and culture honorarium from the student association there. And the next year we did another simulation of a digital marketing agency where we work with a live client, where we work with a band, and we got best marketing plan out of 9 teams. And I was the project coordinator for everything. So just taking that initiative, it really showed the school and the teachers that I was doing the work for that I had that drive that the other students didn't.
For sure. Like you probably wouldn't have had that drive if you went taking these courses fresh out of high school, right?
Oh, no, not at all.
I would have just been partying. Yeah. Like we all know that's true.
And sorry, I was going to say, the thing about postgraduate is that you're actually coming from a different program. So like most people in postgraduate programs do have a bit of drive, especially sports business. There's people coming from all over the world to take this course because there's an internship involved.
Cool.
So a lot of people do have the drive in there, but like, yeah, it's still different when you're a little bit older.
Definitely. Like you would approach it with a bit more, like a totally different view in my perspective, right? I think of like if I went to school now, and especially being so focused in something that you're driven to learn, like, man, I hated math class, and like, they make you read this, they make you read that. But now, like, as we're diving more into the Overheard Podcast project, like, I'm learning every day, and I'm researching, like, you know what I mean? Like, when you're really, truly involved in it, and like you love what you're researching, like that drive just hits another level, So congratulations on your achievements, man.
Thank you.
That's huge. When we're talking about burnout, we talked about it again in your bio. A lot of people hit there and stay there. What do you think gave you that push initially to get your whole ball rolling into your new life?
Well, I think that the push has to come from within yourself, basically. I think you'd agree. You had to get there at some point. For years, as I've said, like I just didn't feel like I belonged in the life that I was in. Like I said before, I grew up in a house where my grandpa was the Ontario Minor Hockey Association executive, so he was well known around the community. I started to get to know that stuff in Yuki, where I was just on the radio. I was talking to people. I was out doing things I didn't know how to do them, but I found a way to do them. I had volunteers working with me, like our haunted houses. We had like 15 volunteers just like donating their time to make arts and crafts and do this whole play where we did 15 different runs in the night. And I just saw more potential in me, and I knew that I could do things. So basically just getting out there into the community and having a hobby that I was interested in. So just having those events that I was putting on really gave me more of a sense of purpose than sitting back in a kitchen and cooking people food.
Yeah.
Like that can be fun. Like I'm sure you can, like, it's always a good feeling when you cook a big group of people a meal and they really love it. But there's something else about like just going out there and creating something on your own and having people support it. So the push just basically came with myself. Like I weighed over 300 pounds. I've lost 100 pounds and I just didn't feel good every day. And I wanted to feel good about myself and what I was doing every day. So there's no real thing that gave me the push other than myself.
Fair enough, man.
No doubt.
Like I said, I've been there as well. And like, I think not feeling good, this is the point that you brought up, is an important one. Is like, if you don't feel good, there is ways to change it. And you're not going to feel good by doing the same behaviors that you've been doing.
Yeah, no doubt.
Right? Like,
Exactly.
It's much easier to keep doing what you've been doing. And it's much more difficult to start that change and tell yourself, hey, Monday, you know, I'm working out, or I'm putting down the cigarettes or the booze or whatever. But, yeah, I don't know. That's got to be the hardest part. But you got to find that point. Like, without finding that point, I don't think moving forward from there is possible.
It is the hardest part, but you also, once you start doing it, you realize that you can do it. You just got to start smaller than you think, because you see all these things on social media and whatnot, and people you maybe you know in your life that are doing these cool things like climbing to the top of these crazy mountains, or bench pressing 225 pounds, or deadlifting and squatting their body weight. But like, you don't got to start there. I started with 10-pound dumbbells and just like going on YouTube and watching a little video and doing 15 to 20 minute workouts. And now I do 2-hour workouts and I do all those things, you know?
Nice.
Well, actually, I recently, you make me think of a story that happened to me like maybe last week. I had a friend of mine that I was chatting to, and you know, he was asking, I feel like maybe this person came to me looking for some kind of pity, or maybe was asking for advice in a very strange way. So I gave some pretty hard advice. And they ended up like kind of crashing out on me a little bit. But the whole point of the thing was like, this person didn't know where to start as far as like changing their lives, or where to begin in being a better person or a better whatever, right? And I think it's a point that you made as well, was those small victories. Right? You don't have to smash it out of the park on your first try, you know? For me, and I've said this before on the pod, the biggest thing when I found sobriety was making my bed in the morning, because that's something that I never did when I partied. I would always go to bed.
I always do. Even if I party, I do. I don't know.
But man, like that's how like kind of DJ and I had become, was like, I would never make my bed. I never really clean my apartment. And that's like, I think the first step. Like if you want to change your life, start by making your bed and like keeping a clean apartment.
Yeah, it's
like that is literally the first thing that you can do if you want to feel better about yourself.
Oh yeah,
like
hell yeah.
That one easy win in the morning gets the ball rolling for bigger wins throughout your day. And you know, it sounds corny as hell.
Snowball effects, buddy.
But it's true. So
it is true. So there's another podcast I listen to called The Mindset Mentor. And it's just quick things every day, like 15-minute episodes. And the guy talks about that dopamine reward system we were kind of mentioned earlier,
for sure,
where you kind of have to create this reward system within your own brain to do these things. So he gave the example of like Kobe Bryant. He probably didn't even realize he was creating a dopamine reward system, but every single time he scored a basket in basketball, it gave him a reward. It wasn't that he wanted to be the greatest basketball player to ever live. He did, but it was just like he got there doing the process of creating that reward system within himself.
For sure.
So every time that you do something, maybe you don't want to. I've never regretted going to the gym. Like I've not wanted to go sometimes, but like I've got there and started doing things and be like, oh wow, I'm really glad I did that. I've never gotten out of the gym and been like, man, that sucked. I shouldn't have done that. You know?
Like, I had a horrible idea. I shouldn't have done that at all.
Oh, I think you're right. And you raise a good point that, like, in an era of convenience, pushing yourself to do hard things is really worth it.
No doubt.
Like, it really is, honestly.
Well, for those of us who don't know, because we're like pretty much halfway through, if you've never heard of Rocky Mountain Live, what is it? What inspired you to get it going?
Yeah, let's get to Rocky Mountain Live.
Let's go.
Rocky Mountain Live. Well, Rocky Mountain Live, at its most basic, it's a website with event listings and musician, band, venue, and music resource bios. So basically, you can go on there and get information about any events from the Bow Valley up to Jasper and through the East Kootenays.
Cool.
But there's a lot more to it. So it's community building, right? We talk about community building, and basically, it's a platform where people can utilize to get themselves noticed, because it's social media and the music world is a very noisy space out there. And there's a lot going on in our communities. We're all very active communities through the Bow Valley. Fernie's a huge, super active community for being a smaller place, especially. And there's so much going on at all times that it's hard to keep track of everything.
For sure.
So, like, we got our Facebook groups, but they're, it's the most recent posts that's at the top. We've got different tools in different places. Like some of the tourism organizations, like in Fernie, they put a lot of their music events out, but not all of them do. In the Bow Valley, they kind of focus on their own events here on their websites. So I just found that you had to follow so many different things to find out what's going on. And as I said, I worked with Kingston Live, and I knew Live Victoria from my time on Vancouver Island. So I knew how to fill that need, basically. So I got a hold of the platform host, and I bought the platform. And yeah, so it's basically, I want to create a database of everything that's happening in music across the Rockies. Doesn't matter your genre, doesn't matter what you do for events. If it has any relation to music or any music involved, I'll put your event on the space.
Nice.
There's even spaces on there to put theater events and dance events and film events and everything. So I want to create this community where people can utilize it. So I want people to tag us. So if you're releasing a song, if you have an event, tag Rocky Mountain Live and we'll share it to our stories.
Cool.
If you want to get interviewed, reach out to me and I'll come meet you somewhere and we'll interview you. If you have anything happening related to music, we want to cover you, and we want to give everybody who comes. We have so many different people from all over the world coming every day, so many seasonal employees coming every season. I want to give them a space where they know where to go to find out what's happening.
For sure. I think from following you specifically on Instagram, it's literally the easiest account to follow to know everything that's going on. And you got like nightly, or like, I think it's daily posts on what's going on every single night, all the events. So like you said before, instead of having to follow a million different accounts, this DJ's promoting their events here, it's all kind of done for you and curated in one space, so you know what's going on. More so than that, the online platform's super cool. Our profile is all set up and going, and it really connects like venues, artists, concert goers, and the musicians kind of all in one place, right? So it's pretty awesome. So if you're like an artist, say, looking to book venues, well, you got some right there. You know that they're already contactable, they're open to live music, and the same thing goes the other way around, right? How does it work behind the scenes? How easy is it for people to get involved if they do want to start up a profile?
Oh, super easy. So as I said, I set up your guys' profile. I got a screen record video that I did of that I'm going to basically put up on the YouTube. I'm going to do a voiceover. It's up there right now with no audio. Are you going to put it on there?
We got it.
All right. Well, they're going to throw up on the screen here. So it basically just walks you through everything. So, yeah, it shows you that Rocky Mountain Live is your guide to rock the Rockies. Right there, it has the daily event listings. To the right, it's featured content and the most recent profiles added to the site. So this will basically just show you how to do it. You can get on there, and anybody's allowed to add content. So basically, when you click that drop-down menu, it just showed up there. You can choose to add a single date or recurring event. So if you put an event listing on, you can put it just for one day or a weekly event or multiple dates. And it takes like a couple minutes to fill out the form. There's also spaces for musician bios, also band or act bios. So if you're a solo, so say you're DJ Matty Rage, but you're also part of 3D drum and bass, you can create profiles for both and actually link them.
Nice.
So, Yeah, it's very easy. It literally takes 10 minutes to set up a profile on the site.
Super easy.
Super easy. And any music resource business. So you guys are on there as a radio show or TV show just because you have the episodes on YouTube as well.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, venues are on there, promoters are on there. It's basically just a super easy way to be active on there. So, yeah, if you keep watching here, it'll show you how to navigate the site, how to fill everything out. Up until this point, it's been mostly me doing everything. So I did the website maintenance, I added events, I create the social media,
wild, dude.
I do the interviews, I edit the interviews, I cover events and take footage and edit them into reels. I do this and that.
It's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. But recently, I had a couple volunteers reach out and start. One's actually here helping record and whatnot. So Tori, who works at Banff Gondola, is here with us, and she actually does a lot of the event listings. And this week she has been doing posts for all the Halloween events happening around the Bow Valley and beyond. Today she posted the South Kootenays. And I had another girl named Lily who actually knows Kingston. She went to school in Kingston as well and knows Kingston live.
Very cool.
So she's going to be helping with higher level marketing stuff because her marketing background in school and whatnot, and her familiarity with the platform is going to be a huge help in getting in front of the audience of seasonal employees and whatnot. So yeah, if you want to get involved, you can add anything to the website that you want. It comes back to me to approve. And this video shows you how to add your photos, how to add videos. We linked up pretty much all your videos from Folk Fest and Harvest Festival.
Sick. Great job on that. It's awesome. So everyone that has profiles already up, they're already linked.
Yeah.
What a great feature.
Yeah.
So super easy to navigate if you're already on that platform. Yeah, awesome stuff, man. That's sick.
Yeah, so like your episodes with Bunny Hops are on her profile. Your interview with Arn Smeet is on his.
Nice.
Just for examples, the Folk Fest ones are connected to the Folk Fest profile and the artist profiles. You have Hey Jack coming on soon.
Very sick.
His is on his profile. And yeah, and if you want to tag anything, like I said, in social media, I'm happy to share any story any day. Makes my life easier that I don't have to search everything out.
And also a cool place if you're just getting to town to know who the local acts are, because the profiles are all there and it's all linked on where you can catch them. So honestly, a great resource for anyone.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's for. And as I said, it's just so hard in the music industry these days. You're not only competing against other events happening in town, you're competing against everybody on Spotify. And that's not just people in your region or in Canada, that's all over the world, and bands who aren't even alive anymore. Like, all the music in the world is at our fingertips. So you're competing with them. You're competing with every streaming platform for movies and TV shows.
For sure.
You're just like, it's a very hard uphill battle. So anything that brings community together to get in front of more eyes. But the most common answer I get for the question, what kind of music do you listen to, is I listen to everything. So, like, you know, I think that a lot of people do listen to a lot of different types of music, and that people can enjoy more shows than they realize. So people think when they're going out to a show, you know, oh, that's a folk show or that's a DJ show and that's my scene. But if you go out to any live music event, you're probably going to have a good time.
Yeah. Genres are pretty subjective these days anyways. I found that out quite quickly at Folk Fest and Harvest, like especially Folk Fest, right? You think of folk music as a specific genre, but it's kind of expanding more and more.
It's like
it's
ED,
not a very...
It's like EDM, man. Like I'll find a new genre like every 2 weeks. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Folk adjacent music is kind of growing and there's no really set boundaries. So I found myself discovering new artists and new styles of music that I was like, you know what I mean? Like finding new music.
Oh yeah.
Is one of the true pleasures of life, I think, right? Like, how easy is it to go to an event and just be immersed in new things?
I've been to some pretty wild shows that I didn't think I was going to like, but I'm like, yeah, fair enough, man. This is pretty sick, not going to lie.
That's it. Yeah. So I think I mirror your thoughts, and a live performance is great no matter what genre. And, you know, trying a new genre might fit your fancy. You never know, you know?
Yeah. Well, I find when you get into artist bios and stuff, like my favorite types of music is genre blending music.
For sure.
So you'll find that when you find artist bios these days, there'll be like 4 or 5 different types of music listed to bring in their style. I think that the 2 scenes that thrive the most in the mountains are folk music and electronic music.
For sure.
Yeah. And who is the biggest act to come out of, they're in the West Kootenays, but out of the Rockies and beyond in the last like 10 years, probably Moontrix, who is folk electronica.
Yeah, a blend of both.
Roots electronica is how they describe. And I actually have an interview with a couple members from Moontrix from Calgary Folk Fest I've been sitting on that I'm going to release soon.
Oh, cool.
And they're just, they found that way to like take those two scenes and bring them together. When you go to a show in the mountains, you'll find that the people coming are either our folk fans or electronic fans, and they get there and they just like find that they really, really love that all coming together in one.
Amazing. I love it. I think it's a great platform. It's a great idea. You should definitely go give them a follow on Instagram. And if you're an artist, don't be shy to go make your profile on Rocky Mountain Live. What's the next step for Rocky Mountain Live?
Well, the next step, I got lots of growth plans. So some things you have to stay tuned for. We really got to build out the team though. So I'm trying to Rocky Mountain Live is designed to be a collaboration of people. So as I said, I had a couple of volunteers start recently.
Big shout out.
And maybe we can get Tori to come on in a second and say a couple of words about like what she does and why she joined Rocky Mountain Live. But we're looking for more people. It's a volunteer-based platform. Live Victoria and Kingston Live were both designed that way. So there's these models in these cities already that have been super successful. And basically anybody who has any skill that they think that they could bring to Rocky Mountain Live, reach out. If you're looking to get involved in something, I kind of touched on before, where you have a hobby that you're interested in, when you're trying to find your way out of like that burnout cycle, just latching onto something and having a project that drives your other passions forward is very helpful in that. And if you have any skills, if you're a graphic designer, if you like video, if you just want to get involved and love music and want to help with event listings, if you have social media skills, we're open to ideas. I'm open to changing things up and mixing up what we got on the site and how we deliver our social media and deliver our marketing. As a one-man show with other jobs and projects on the go, it's difficult to do all the things that I really want to. So if we could grow out the team a bit more, that's the biggest next step, is taking those models in these other places and really driving to be like them.
Nice.
Well, I think that's great. So call out to the community if you want to get involved. And hey, if you're looking to grow your creativity and be involved in something that's, gaining steam, definitely get in touch with Rocky Mountain Live.
Yeah, thank you.
Right on, man. We've hinted at launching your new personal project with your new career path on the go. Congratulations, by the way. Big shout out to Defending Awesome again.
Let's go.
What's the next step on that front?
Well, it just launched today. So I just put up a new personal branding platform on Instagram. It's called Big Jim _Big Mountains _Big Dreams. And, I've always seen those influencers out there and thought, like, why not me, right? So it's going to grow into an influencer platform. So basically, I want to learn skills from people who are doing amazing things. As we said, I got a little bit of a varied skill set, and I really enjoy learning from different people about what they do. So I want to create content. Eventually, I want to do very polished documentary little videos, like 20 minutes on people's lives and their stories.
Cool.
So I have 3 questions that I want to ask people. So I got tired of hearing people telling me they're living the dream when you're at work. You go into the restaurant and you ask people how they're doing, like, it's living the dream, very sarcastically.
Yeah.
And so I thought, like, why are we not living our dreams or actually trying to? So that song that got you to publish from My Son the Hurricane, I got you to start on a very specific part where it said, we grew up knowing that we could do anything, but anything quickly turned into everything, and everything was more than we could have imagined. And then what happened? So it's like, we grew up with all these dreams, and then we just get sidetracked in life and just stuck in these lives.
Yeah.
So why aren't we trying to chase after our dreams? So I want to ask people, what does the phrase living the dream mean to you? And I think that we've all overcame more mountains in life and more obstacles in life than we realize to get to where we are. And when you think about all the things that you've done in life, that you can believe in your success more. So my second question would be, what's a mountain in your life that you've climbed that you're very proud of? And then I want to give people advice on how to get into new careers basically and just live in a better way. So I want to ask different people kind of the same questions you're asking me.
For sure.
But like, what's a step that you take in your day-to-day life to try to get to your goals? Like whether that's making your bed or going to the gym or like doing something involved in your career, anything like that. Do you want to give advice to people that helps you? So I basically want to just talk to people, get their answers, inspire some people along the way. And I want to do the features I can start out doing smaller features just on people around the community and eventually get to these more expensive videography published episodes on YouTube where people bring me into their jobs or their lives and they just teach me a skill and teach people what they need to do to go after that career. So I got a photographer in town. Shout out to Deo. He helps with Rocky Mountain Live. Nice. He helped you at Harvest Fest. I believe you met him there. He took some pictures.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to do an episode, quick episode with him on just being a photographer that travels around the world. Cool. I'm talking to a guy at work at Defending Awesome. Shout out Defending Awesome. Yeah. Jay there about doing one about being a designer basically in his life and things that he's done in his life. And yeah, I just want to get my name out there mostly. So a lot of people don't know me around the Bow Valley. Being on the pod helps with that.
For sure.
And this new platform just lets people know who I am and what I'm about. And today I published on a pinned post what my long-term goals are and what my next steps are to just get there. And I'm just going to show who I am, what I do, what I'm about. So give me a follow on there. If you've ever wanted to support a success story, help me out and we'll help other people out along the way.
Well, Jimmy, one thing I know since we've met is your drive and your passion and your willingness to collaborate with the community, right?
Yeah, no
We're
doubt.
in the space of social media where a lot of people are pretty guarded and are pretty not open to collaboration. I got the opposite mentality personally, and so do you. So this has kind of been like a really cool meeting of the minds as far as how we can kind of get a positive message out to the community, right? What's one lesson that you've learned from your recovery and your whole journey that applies directly to your business mindset or your creative work?
One lesson is that you got to work on yourself to be able to help others. So like when I was doing those events in the community before in Yuki, like that was during my party days and everything. And, you know, I was helping the community have fun and everything, but I wasn't really helping anybody. And I really we're all altruistic people who want to have that meaning in life. And I found that like, you need to work on yourself. You need to get yourself out there if you want to help others. So, you know, I put in all that work and I finally found what I want to do in life. I found a wonderful woman that I love now. Shout out to Jess. It's actually our 1 year anniversary this Saturday. So
congrats.
Have a fun thing that we're doing on Saturday. It's a little bit of a surprise, so I'm not going to ruin that. But follow Big Jim, Big Bounds, Big Dreams, and you'll see more content on that.
Nice.
But, you know, I would never found her or my new career without putting that work into myself. So,
Fair enough,
you know, and the whole Rocky Mountain Live, like getting that creativity out there, I'm going to grow more getting my own self out there with this new platform. So, you know, putting that work into yourself is the biggest thing that you can do.
For sure. I think trying to help the community while yourself is still needing help might be, you know, first things first, right?
Exactly.
Showing up in a good space for the community is probably should be your number one focus. You know what I'm saying? What's your mountain right now? What's the next big thing you're working towards?
Two things mostly. So I just published, I got 7 long-term goals with the next steps on there, but they're all kind of tied to 2 main themes. And first is just building up my new career. So that's what I'm doing with these 2 platforms. I'm still working jobs. So shout out to Jim and Kai at Defending Awesome for giving me a great part-time job that's related to the fields of study there that I've worked on for the last 5 years. They're a great team and it's a very fun environment. And shout out to Bunny and John at Mel's as well. Melissa's Mistake.
Yeah.
So I just started doing their social media as well. But I want to grow out my team. I want to grow my platforms. I want to add more people to the team. So yeah, hopefully I can have a team where I just kind of oversee Rocky Mountain Live and people get to use it as a platform to drive their own careers. And on my platform, I want to go feature people that helps their businesses and their careers as well and grow my platform so people get more eyes on them. So yeah, that's my mountain is just like building these 2 things up. So it is my full-time job where, you know, my new jobs, they know that I eventually want to kind of take a step back where I'm kind of more casual employee at Defending Awesome, but bring them jobs where I can do the work for people on merch and stuff that I bring them. And Mel's knows that I want to eventually have people on my team doing their social media where it's not just me, so we can work with different venues around the Rockies and kind of take over their social medias and drive their businesses further. So yeah, it's all long-term goals for both of those platforms. And the other one is just I'm on my second fitness journey as well. So we mentioned that I lost 100 pounds before.
Yeah.
But then I added some back, but it was like a lot of good weight. So I like lost 100 pounds. I started bulking up to add muscle. I had some unwanted weight again there. And then I kind of got more comfortable with my workouts and my diet in the last 2 years than I should have. So now I want to take myself back out of that comfort zone and push myself in different ways, get into peak health. Basically, I started going to see some doctor. I'm almost 40 now, so it's about that time you get some things checked up on.
For sure,
you know?
for sure.
So those are my two things: is getting into peak health performance and just driving that new career where it is my whole career, my whole life, the way I want it to be.
Right on, man. Some lofty goals, dude. One thing that solidified your appearance on this show was, I think, a moment where we were talking during one of those rainstorms at the Folk Fest in Canmore, and it was like everyone that was there in that tent. It was like me, you, Hey Jack. I forget who else was there, but it was like everyone that was there in that tent. We're all people that were doing something. You know what I mean? Like using our time to further projects that really mean something to us. You know what I mean? And that's like a really positive thing. I think if you're out there looking to change your life or conquer a mountain, is surrounding yourself with people that are trying to do the same.
Well, let me say something on that. I just want to give you props too, because like one of the things that solidified my doing my new project is you. You kind of inspired the new project.
Thanks, brother.
Because you always tell your story on this podcast, and I thought if Dan tells his story, I can tell mine. I'm going to take a different approach to it. But we were talking, as you said in there, and I kind of looked at everybody who has helped me that weekend. You quit your bad habits and started to be the biggest podcast in the Bow Valley, and hopefully grows even further.
Thanks, man.
Adam from Hey Jack, he has a crazy story of he has like 6 kids, lost a partner, and quit doing his former job and pursued music as his full-time job in her honor. He just took the 4 kids that lost their mother to the East Coast.
Yeah.
And he's going to be on here
We're gonna talk
in a
all
few
about
weeks.
it. Yeah,
so
for sure.
tune into that episode because Adam's an amazing human.
Crazy.
And then Mike Schwartz, he was there as well.
Yeah,
and
big shout
his
out.
whole thing was he's trying to make the music industry healthier and stop all the toxic habits. He actually wrote the book on how to be more healthy instead of living the rock star life in the music industry.
For sure.
And then Anna Sellers, so she's one of my photographers. She's training to try to be in the Olympics for biathlon right now. And she's one of the volunteer photographers for Canmore Folk Fest for years. And yeah, her story is amazing too. So I just looked at all these people around me with all these amazing stories. And I want to do episodes on all 4 of you eventually.
Let's do it, man.
I want to get
down.
I have a videographer who's ready to do these episodes. They'll be expensive. So if anybody out there in the Bow Valley or beyond listens to this and you're interested in inspiring people to do amazing things in their life, I have a bunch of episodes lined up that I want to do. They'll be a little bit expensive, but I want to find sponsors who want to be involved in these. And as I grow up my following on Big Jim, Big Mountains, Big Dreams, I want to expand the reach, and it's a very scalable thing. Like one of my main goals is to do Jonathan Taze with the Winnipeg Jets. He just came back after he went to India. Do you know his story?
No, I heard something about it. Somebody was talking about it at work. But he went over to India and then he
Yeah, he had to retire basically because he had long COVID.
Oh, right.
And he just wasn't the player he once was. The guy won 3 Stanley Cups as a captain. And he went over to India, and I don't even know the name of the treatment he took, but it's some crazy treatment. He did psychedelics to really discover himself.
Let's go.
And he used to be known as Captain Serious, and nobody thought that he'd do anything like this in his life.
Wild.
And he's come back to he's second line center now on his hometown team. And I think he has a crazy story to tell. So my girlfriend's actually from Winnipeg. So it's like one of my main goals is to do an episode of Path to the Peak with Jonathan Taze.
Sick.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Sick.
So yeah, if anybody out there wants to help me grow, I'm looking for people around the Bow Valley who have a story to tell, a skill to teach me, and just advice they want to give people on how to live their life every day. So reach out to me and follow Big Jim, Big Mountains, Big Dreams on Instagram.
Amazing. I just wanted to touch back a little bit on the health stuff too. I wanted to share a little tidbit that has helped me this year. If you've been following the show, this year I made one change well, maybe two changes in my life that helped my health significantly. And one of them was stop drinking sugar.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like I forget what I saw some documentary, whether it was a video or something, that showed how much sugar is in these drinks that you drink all the time. You drink apple juice, orange juice, or you're having, Pepsi every day or every 2 days or whatever. The amount of sugar that's in that is crazy.
Oh, I have way too many of those a day.
That's it. One thing that I did was stop drinking sugar. So whether that's like coffee and stuff, I used to have a shaft on Tuesdays because, of course, shafts are amazing. And they're pretty low in sugar. They're not so bad. But just like my everyday, the sugar that I was drinking, I totally cut it out. And if you haven't looked into it, fasting. Like,
intermittent fasting can be huge.
I am not a medical professional, but my experience with fasting has been incredible in the past year. So again, I'm not like a medical doctor or anything like that.
We're not here to give medical
we're not
advice.
Here to give medical advice, but like go research it for yourself. And I don't know, especially for men, there can be a huge benefits to fasting, and it might help you along your journey.
No, I agree with that. I actually have a little bit of sugar in this coffee right now, but I've started to drink like 80% of the coffee black recently, and I stopped drinking sugar like years ago when I started losing weight. My girlfriend actually got me into Western Family carbonated beverages with 0 calories.
Yeah.
We destroy Western Family carbonated beverages.
Just crush a case of them.
I'll give you another piece of advice to help me lose weight. So it's all about calorie counting, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody knows calories in, calories out. What I started to do is overcount my calories. So like on purpose. So you basically want to find your resting metabolic rate and aim for that. And then any calories you put into workouts or whatever in the day will just like lose weight after that. But I count my calories. So like an egg is generally like around 70 calories and 7 grams of protein. Mm-hmm. I count it as in my head as 100 calories.
Fair.
So when I had breakfast, if I had 2 pieces of bread, 2 eggs, and a little like low-fat mayo or spinach with it, I count it as like 500 calories, even though I know it's probably just under 4.
It's a way to stay in a deficit by overcount. That's a smart strategy.
And it's like when you set your clocks like 10 minutes fast. Yeah, because that's what like me and my roommate Aaron, we do that. Like the clocks in the clocks in the kitchen are like 10 minutes ahead, and you're like, shit, I gotta go, and then you get there, you're like, oh, I'm good.
Great
I'm
analogy.
That is the perfect comparison. But yeah, if anybody looking to lose weight, that really helped me out, and just like try to hit that target for your resting metabolic rate. And if you do that, you'll find that you get enough food in the day, but then you're just losing weight. Like I started on my new fitness journey a little over a month ago, and I'm already down 12 pounds again.
Oh, congrats, bro. I was gonna say you're looking pretty trim these days.
Oh, thank you, sir.
One thing too, on that note, as far as the sugars and stuff, we talked about Huberman earlier. He's got a podcast specifically. I forget which episode it is, but it's the one all about drinking alcohol.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
At one point in that episode, he states that I think it's 2 alcoholic beverages a week is enough to fully cancel out any type of physical activity that you've done during that time period.
Oh, no.
So if you're working out,
I'm going in reverse, I think, at this point.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like if you're working out or if you're paying for like a personal trainer or something like that, and you're having more than 2 alcoholic drinks a week, they won't tell you this, but you might be wasting your money. So like if you do have health goals, alcohol consumption is probably your number one hindrance to those goals.
No doubt.
So yeah, my recommendation would always be put down the booze, baby.
Yeah, that and cigarettes too. Cigarettes.
Fuck, I'm going in double reverse.
But Huberman, like his tagline for his podcast is science-based tools for everyday life.
Yeah.
And if you want to know anything about the mind or the body, I guarantee he already has an episode on it, and it's all the most recent peer-reviewed science.
Yeah.
And I even listened to one when I was starting my ideas for a big gym, big mountains, big dreams on scientific ways to set goals. So, yeah, I have in my notebook a lot of stuff written down about that. And yeah, Huberman Lab is a great podcast and just mindset podcast. Like if you follow along on my new platform, I'm going to share some of my favorite things that I've heard in these podcasts. I got a big long list and that can go for a long time. I listen to as many podcasts, whether they're hockey based or mindset based, as I do music these days. So it's
wow.
Yeah.
Well, I think that goes to finding your passion. Like I find myself in the same situation. If you asked me 2 years ago, I would probably never miss an NFL Sunday, or especially the first Sunday of the year.
Fair enough.
This week, Harvest Fest was on the first Sunday of the year, and I'm like, it wasn't even a thought in my mind to not do the Harvest Fest coverage, to stay home and watch football. It's just like, when you find what you're truly passionate in, that drive just kicks in, and there is no, like, it doesn't even feel like work. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, I know.
this is our day off of our restaurant jobs.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not like, oh, I have to work today. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like when you find that thing that you truly love, that passion, that drive will come along with it. So if you're out there and you're in a rut, you're looking for your thing, just keep trying different things and you'll find it.
Yeah, like I said earlier, you got to find a hobby and something that interests you. So when I started doing events and started putting on concerts, like I said, I had no idea what I was doing. I literally just started talking to people, went on the radio because back in Yuki, they let community members have a radio show if they wanted, basically. They give you a key and a couple hour time slot. Yeah, and then I just like, I always loved music. And then when I found you put on an event, like it's a lot of work. And then there's a point in the event where you look around and everyone's having a good time and everything's going well. And it's like, yeah, I did that thing.
Yeah.
So like whatever you're interested in, there is a way to get involved in your off time. And I used to have that fear of missing out on the party every day. Like I feel like I was missing out if I wasn't going out, if I was hungover and just like didn't have the energy to go out and be
exactly.
like, man, I really wish I was there right now. But I never get that fear of missing out anymore just because I found joy in doing the things that I do every day.
For sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very well said. How can people get in contact with you if they want to volunteer for Rocky Mountain Live or get in touch with you for any of your big Jim, big dreams missions?
Yeah, so many ways. So the best ways is to follow on Rocky Mountain Live on Instagram or Facebook. We have a lot of content on YouTube as well with interviews and features. And you can reach out to Jimmy at rockymountainlive.ca. So if you have any interest, any skills you want to bring to the table, if you just want to learn more about Rocky Mountain Live, if you want to set up a profile, I can help you out with anything you want. I can do interviews with you as well. And Big Jim, Big Dreams. So yeah, follow along there. It's brand new. I literally just did the 2 posts like on my way here on the bus. Nice. And I'm just going to post stuff about my life as I build this up, talking to people around the community, do features. So like I said, if you have a cool story to tell, want to inspire some people, want to highlight your business or an employee, a cool employee who's doing a lot of great work for you in your business, follow on Instagram and send me a DM there. There's also the email bigjim.bigmountains.bigdreams@gmail.com. And I just basically like thank you for letting me come on here, first of all.
Bro,
because
great having you.
of course. Dude. And yeah, it's just a great way to get out there to the community and get my name known because I want to meet everybody. That's what both of these platforms are about. Or is I just want to talk to you, find out what you are about, and feature you on my platforms. So reach out. Let's make some magic together. Let's make some cool features. And I forgot to do this in the beginning during all the intros, but props to you guys for what you do here.
Thanks,
because
man.
you guys just did a great community service. Every single town should have long form conversations with all their candidates like we just did for the municipal election.
Yeah.
I listened to most of the episodes. I didn't get that in Canmore. I live in Canmore. I work in Banff, and I knew more about these issues just from the work that you guys were doing. And I still voted in my town, but I had to do quick research and everything. And I just found that it wasn't as well structured and you don't get to know the people as well.
For sure.
Yeah.
So
you get like a little, tiny little paragraph in the paper, and it's like, well, I guess I'll vote for you. I don't really know anything about you, but I mean.
Well, I did have a good friend reach out. Big shout out to Cam, if you're out there listening, about potentially doing the Canmore candidates as well. And unfortunately, without funding this year, there just wasn't enough time.
Yeah.
But hopefully we can get in talks with, town of Canmore when 4 years is up and they're running again. Maybe we can give, full coverage to everyone. Because again, this is why we started this, is to have these conversations and to get to meet the people that are in our communities, right? And if you got an hour to sit along with us,
it's way easier in an hour than it is in a paragraph, So.
For sure. And you get a feel for who these people actually are,
Exactly. So thank you for just the work you do. You not even just municipal people like me, people doing their music. I really appreciate it. You inspired me to do my new platform and get my name out there just like you do. So congratulations to you on how much you've grown the Overheard Podcast here.
That means a lot, man. Thank you for the kind words, honestly.
I appreciate it.
We're just going to keep rocking away. Speaking of keep rocking away, we got some more coverage coming from you today. We're going to actually have the conclusion of our election coverage coming to you today. 2 p.m. at Town Hall, the swearing in ceremony for the new candidates will be happening. So we're going to go there. We're going to be getting some footage. We're going to be getting some short interviews with them right after the ceremony's done.
No doubt.
So catch up with us later. It's not going to be live. I think we're going to be kind of on location. We're going to cut that together for an episode, which will probably be out later tonight, if not tomorrow morning. But stay tuned for our coverage for the Banff Center Mountain Film and Book Festival, which will be coming to you shortly as well. We're going to have some stuff out later today. We got to give a big shout out to Defending Awesome for our new merch and for all their help in the community and with our own projects. I mean, there's no better place if you're looking for anything printed, shirt or, garment wise. They've made the process super easy for us, especially get our sick new merch. And yeah, if you want some merch, holler in the DMs. Like I said, I don't have any for production now, but we'll see what we can do.
Your one-stop print shop. I'm in training to be a print ninja, and I'm pretty stoked on it. I wouldn't give myself print ninja status yet. Jim, Kai, Jay, they're all really great at what they do, but it is a one-stop shop. We do a little bit of everything there, beyond garments and into banners, like whatever you want printed. So yeah, get down there, come say hi.
Big shout out. Thanks again. That's all the time we have for today. We got to give a thanks to our sponsor, Drink Shaft, for this episode. Our day one homies down there. Go pick them up at Townhouse Liquor or at Rose and Crown. And yeah, stick with us. We'll be back with you shortly. Like every week.
See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.